Central banks have done the impossible. They've made inflation go away. All you have to do is stick your head in the sand. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. In today's video, we're going to look at the central bank activities, what they've been doing, and my goodness, what they are about to do. It's going to be painful for a lot of people, but if you position yourself appropriately, you will be really in the top 1% of those who come out on the other side. Because according to the Bank for International Settlements, central banks on the brink of victory in the inflation fight, they're telling you they're doing such a great job. And when you look at their numbers, it's true. It's true. Things are okay, I guess. Central banks have taken decisive action, thus prevented inflation from becoming entrenched. At the same time, economic activity has been remarkably resilient and the financial system has held up well. That's true. If we use their numbers, it is true, right? So we can do that. We can use their numbers. Why not, right? We just have to ignore a lot of reality, okay? And so I guess you can bury your head in the sand. It's just hard to breathe under there. That's all. At the same time, we're seeing gold hitting a record high. One of those reasons being US rate cut optimism, saying, look, they're going to cut interest rates. It's going to happen. And as a result, inflation is going to go higher. But wait a minute. If gold is going higher, and that is a signal of a devaluation of the currency, a signal of inflation, then what are we being told by the Bank for International Settlements? Something is fishy. Something's off. Well, the data is in how QT, that's quantitative tightening, impacts the markets. Moves by central banks to reduce their balance sheets have not had the impact feared by many. Wait a second. So they can do QT, they can pull out all of that money that they put in an emergency, and everything's going to be fine. Actually, if you read this article and the next one I'll show you out of the Financial Times, this is the case they're making. People were so worried about quantitative tightening, but you don't have to be. You don't have to worry because everything is going to be a-okay. Yes, that's right. Quantitative tightening doesn't cause a problem. And they say, look, the last time we did this, it didn't cause an issue. So this time, it won't either. Other than that, little blip, little bump in the road, but nothing to worry about. There's just one little problem. I'll get into that in a sec. Here they say, QT programs have so far been working as central banks intended. They are in the background and not seen as an active tool for adjusting monetary policy. At the same time, they have provided a small degree of support for central banks' effort to tighten financial conditions with minimal impact on market functioning and liquidity. QT has worked in the opposite direction of quantitative easing, but the effects are much, much more muted. That's right. Hey, saying we can do whatever we want with no repercussions. I just have something to say. And I know that a lot of people like there's a couple of YouTubers who would agree with that. Okay, that's fine. That's their opinion, right? Of course, the facts we have would say otherwise, but that's their opinion. They are entitled to that. Of course, I completely agree with that. There's just one issue. When you did quantitative tightening, you didn't really tighten that much. You didn't. Think about it. They're already talking about stopping. Okay. And there's literally $7 trillion of assets on the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. $7 trillion. And you're starting to talk about normalizing the balance sheet? Well, if there wasn't an issue, why not just bring it to zero? Well, why not? Oh, we need enough reserves in the system. Okay, sure. Yeah, sure. Okay, so just you're still buying mortgage-backed securities in the sense of you're still you're not increasing the amount of mortgage-backed securities, but you're actively buying them, and you're actively buying treasuries too. You're really the lender of last resort. You're the buyer of last resort, and you can't stop because if you do, the entire system will fall apart. They don't want to tell you that. jive well with their theories. The skyrocketing costs, driving cheeseburger prices up and restaurant owners out. Escalating payroll costs and diners' dwindling tolerance for higher checks are putting independent restaurants in a squeeze. And so you see what's happening here. This is the bigger picture. When you devalue a currency, many things happen, all right? So, of course, you devalue a currency, things go up in price. That's what happens. But at the same time, if stuff is more expensive, well, then the workers are saying, hey, I need a livable wage. I need to make more money. And so their employer can do a few things. They could say, normally we have 3 people working. Now we can only have 2 people working. Okay? Maybe they lay off, or maybe they don't hire back, like as people drop off and so on. It could go either way. But you also have the issue, like I've seen receipts, crazy, just recently, where they put a tax. I commented about this on X recently, where the example, there was a bill, a receipt from somebody, and it showed it showed all the things, this is the food, this is the cost of the food, the drinks, whatever, and then it said restaurant fee 5%. Restaurant fee. So like, isn't the reason I'm here to eat food and then there's a fee for the restaurant? Like, it doesn't even make sense, but they're just tacking that on. Maybe there's like fine print on the menu, maybe, but you go to order, you say, okay, this is my price, but then another 5%, and then you got a tip. You look at these tips right now, what happened to 15%? That's not even on there anymore. You got to go to custom if you wanted to hit that. Now it's 18, 20, 25, 30, all these things. Even when you go to little kiosks and you go to get an espresso and there's a tip thing. I guess you can tip. It's okay to tip, but it's like tips everywhere. Tipflation. We're getting the tipflation. Okay. Anyway, the point is that you've got issues that they don't want to talk about with the devaluation of the currency. This is the thing, right? Everything is going up and it stems from this devaluation. But don't worry. They told you, some of these guys told you that it's not caused by printing money. Okay, everyone? Because they're not printing money. No. They're just shuffling around some treasuries and stuff. That doesn't create inflation, okay? Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Disney, it's like a Disney story, okay? It's really believable. Yeah. Powell responded. Okay, this is basically talking about, think about this. Congress asks Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve, a question, and the reply is basically, we don't have to tell you anything. This is what happened. Okay, talking about the gold. So they're saying, hey, you got gold, right? And they're saying, Powell basically says, look, we are a custodian for a small portion of the U.S. government's gold, and so on and so forth, all right? And then what they said was the refusal of the chairman of the Federal Reserve Board to even acknowledge, much less reply to, the questions of a member of Congress about the repatriation of gold from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York confirms that something really big is going on with gold internationally. If people want to bring their gold back, if countries want to bring their gold back, something is going on. Something is odd. Where is the gold? We had the previous Treasury Secretary, Munchkin, Stephen Munchkin. The little Munchkin went in to Fort Knox. He came out and he tweeted. He said, glad gold is safe. That's right. Glad gold is safe, with an exclamation point. It's interesting because there was no audit. He walked around. I guess he counted, maybe he counted all the gold bars, make sure they're all there. Actually, he said glad gold is safe. Was he talking about the gold in general? Like just gold in general safe? Or was he talking about the gold there? Huh. Okay. So I guess maybe that wasn't exactly a confidence-inspiring tweet. Yeah. All right. Anyway, enough with the sarcasm, GPS. Look, The situation we have today is that there's a devaluation of the currency. When you look at real things, it doesn't matter what it is, anything. It could be food, it could be your energy, it could be your house. All of these things are costing a lot more. And do you think that's going to change anytime soon? You're being sold this narrative that everything's going to be way cheaper. But it doesn't work like that. Because these criminals, the Federal Reserve, and of course, they're just as complacent in the government, they are all actively trying to do something that they've been doing for a long time, and that is devalue your currency, making your savings worth nothing. And they're doing a great job of it. If we said, you and I, right now, we said, how well can we destroy a currency? Like, what could we do? I mean, we just have to look at this playbook and think, wow, they have done a really good job. Really good job. And nobody sees that connection because you print money, it takes a long time for that to eventually make its way around. It's not like, hey, we're going to, give some money out from the government, $1,400 check, here you go. Instantly it goes into Robinhood accounts, you remember that, and people buy up some stocks. That's a different scenario. It has to slosh its way around the financial system, make its way around. You can't make that direct connection in many ways until you start looking at what I call the money mirror method, or what they call Fed net liquidity. So that's the explanation of what you need to know. Finance Friday crew live, my live 2-hour every Friday group. We know all about that. We get into that. And if you want to join, hit that link in the description below where I can get into the details for you there. I hope you'll join, because that's the place where I can just get level with everybody, explain it to you all. I want to thank you for being here today. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out. And of course, as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.